Did a mystery drone crash in New Jersey? What we know, a series of mysterious drones have been spotted in New Jersey in recent weeks, and an unverified video posted on social media allegedly shows the aftermath of a drone crash. The FBI and local police are investigating the drone sightings, which have been reported nightly in several New Jersey counties since November 18th, with the exception of Thanksgiving Day. I guess maybe China gave them a break. The recent video, of course, filmed in a car at night, appears to show flames and smoke emerging from the side of the road. There was like, and this is a quote, there was like a craft that crashed out of the sky. It was crazy. I don't know what's going on, somebody says in the video. Now, again, this video is actually attached. We'll be going over this here in a second, but it is not clear who originally posted the video, but it has been reshared across YouTube, TikTok, and X, formerly Twitter. One X user wrote on the platform that the original video had been deleted from this platform. It says Newsweek contacted the Pine Beach Police Department where the incident is reported to have happened, and the New Jersey State Police for comment via email. While authorities have acknowledged the drone's recent presence, there have been no official confirmation that one crashed. Now, this whole thing has been an absolute mess. If you guys don't know, almost across the country, people have been reporting just straight up planes. There have been thousands of videos uploaded going, oh, no, that's not a plane. Planes make noise. And they're zooming in on essentially what is literally a plane, tail lit up and all, the correct lighting, the correct beeping. Now, there's something to say if you were an alien race, then you would probably make yourself look like something that's supposed to be there. And I think you could figure out red, green, red, green. But at the same time, everybody and their mom has been posting videos that are outside of New Jersey of things they say are drones. I personally think that people are completely, missing the mark on that. But the folks in New Jersey, they have actually been videotaping Black Hawk helicopters and military looking for these things. There's also been at least a couple videos that are really solid from New Jersey showing these things flying around. I have said that it is either China and their new stealth tech, just proving their point, that it is the U.S. government, and they absolutely know, and they're not telling the lower half of the gov. Doing tests, seeing how people react, maybe testing, some sort of or that this is a group just like the group that made the monoliths and put them all over the place. Somebody manufactured this thing in their garage and they're messing with people. I mean, heck, this could end up being a YouTube video in 5 months from now, how we pranked the world, put drones above New Jersey. But again, it is very strange. And now they're even saying that one crashed. Are they setting us up for a fake invasion? I don't know. But one thing I do know is that people have gone absolutely haywire. Now, before we continue, and again, we'll attach everything to the website as well. So we'll give you a second on that. Make sure to go check out EMP Shield. There are real threats to our country, and I hope that people do pay attention to the threat of an EMP or a solar event. Both are some of the most possible events that could happen. If you want to protect your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, and pretty much anything that runs on a motor, then go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP and get yourself an EMP shield. Easily put in your car in less than 10 minutes. You'll be protected not only against electromagnetic pulse attacks from any of our adversaries, but you'll also be protected against a Carrington-level event from the sun. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Make sure to use the code MARF to save $50 off per device, and that stacks on top of any sales that are going. If there's Black Friday, Valentine's Day, whatever sale they're doing, that stacks. And it helps our independent news. So again, thank you guys for sharing us out and supporting us. All right, let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So have you seen some of the videos that are being posted of like people are just straight up posting like
planes? I've seen
planes.
the airplanes. They're just silly, but there, there's been a lot of people that have posted. The most interesting thing are some of the eyewitnesses that say the size of these are very large. Some are even suggesting they're almost the size of a small car, which would put it way out of the area of amateur, drones, or the drones that consumers are using, obviously, because these things are much bigger. But there are also people have reported, I've seen two different reports, and I know this is probably many, many others out there, but I've seen two different ones. One where they said their car radio or clock and things in their car was acting up when they were in the area where the drone was, and when they left, it wasn't. And someone else who had a heart monitoring device said that their device was making noise and not working correctly when they were in a certain area, but then when they left, it was fine. Now, again, those are just people's anecdotal statements. We don't have any evidence to back any of that up, but very interesting.
Yeah, and by the way, some of the videos do show they do look like drones. I have no doubt that there's probably these massive drones driving around in New Jersey, but outside of New Jersey, everybody that's supposedly seeing them, I think that also too there was all these rumors before the third of this month. There was rumors and kind of this spectacle that there was some sort of algorithm that predicted that we would have some sort of alien invasion on the 3rd. This is something that really didn't get much mainstream coverage, but in our community definitely buzzed around. And it was essentially this thing that's predicted other events before, and it used a computer and calculated that there was going to be an invasion. So this started like right after that. And of course, people are, wanting to see something come out of the sky. There's a lot of people who want to see aliens that have been looking their whole life. Most likely because, honestly, a lot of us have seen stuff that we can't explain up in the sky. I know I have. I've seen plenty of things up there that I just cannot explain. So some sort of answer. It's kind of like a question that we've all asked, but we have never, ever received any kind of answer. All right. And then, again, so one thing that we do know is that first video, we're going to attach it over to the website. You can go over and see it, is that it has had some issues, and there have been some videos removed on YouTube. So we don't know if those are copyright issues or what. But if you want to go see the original video posted from that car, go over to marfooglenews.com. You can go directly to the source. It is pretty nuts to think that, they may be trying to get rid of it, but who knows? It could be copyright, and then people always have to reload and reload and reload. And of course, mystery New Jersey drones go dark when spotted. That's very creepy as well. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy said that the recent drones, which have been sighted in the state, are very sophisticated, saying that the minute you get your eyes on them, they go dark. Now, have any of you had an experience, and in the chat, you can definitely respond. Have you ever had an experience where you're trying to point something out to a family member, you see something strange in the sky, and the second you go, hey, hun, come over here and look at this, the second you do it, it goes away. And it's way up there. I'm talking most of my experiences is when I'm looking at a star, which I'm thinking, I'm looking at it going, is that a satellite? Is that something else? And then it moves weird, right? And then I go, hey, come here, look at this thing. The second I do, all of a sudden it's gone. Or you point out something that's super, super bright, and then it just fades out. I'm sure some of you have seen, stars that all of a sudden just disappear. And we're thinking that the logical explanation for that is that the sun is hitting it and it was reflecting for a second and then it stops. I don't know how people explain that away, but I have seen things that literally disappear, or these huge bright flashes, almost like a micronova in some sort of other universe, and we just happen to see it. But again, they're saying that these drones are kind of doing the same thing. And I always wondered in my head when I was a kid, like, do they know when somebody is watching them? Do they sense like, oh, a human's watching us, and they detect it or something? I know that's a super stupid thought, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you have had that thought in your head when you're looking at these things and they just disappear. It says, quote, the most important point to say is that we don't see any concern for public safety, he said, adding that local, state, and federal authorities, including the FBI and Homeland Security, are working together to uncover the drone's origins. Yeah, well, I'm glad they are, because if you put up a consumer drone like a DJI or something, you'll have somebody responding. You'll have police come to your location and be like, hey, do you have a license for that? That's how they are now. But these things, almost as big as a car, have been up there for weeks, and I still don't understand what's going on. Also, there have been videos of people that are posting, trying to get their own DJIs up. One question I asked last week is, why don't people put their own drones up and try to get a close-up of these things? There have been people, and they could totally be making this up, some of them look pretty legit, where they put their DJI on a table and they're like, hey, it's not taking off. and they go to their app, and it literally says, cannot take off, no fly zone, or it puts up an alert and it won't let them take off. That's what makes me think that this might be, U.S. government stuff, and they're on the back end making sure that no other drones get up in the sky. But again, what do you guys think? Let me know. Or it was a DJI in some of those videos, so if it was China, that would also make sense too. Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, some have suggested on the U.S. government front that they're using them to track something, and they're trying to find whether it be radiation or, broken arrow, whatever you want to call it, or just testing and going through drills. But they think the way the patterns have moved and migrated, it's like they're trying to pick up or follow something. And that's what some have suggested, if it's the U.S. military doing something in secret.
Well, there's also videos of Black Hawk helicopters, flying around super, super low, like 300 feet off the ground, swooping around. And the video, the people that are taking these videos are saying that is them looking for the drones. But who knows the legitimacy of any of that. And then China unveils all-terrain spherical robocops to chase down, bludgeon, and catch criminals using a net-launching cannon. Now, at first, this looks super goofy. And by the way, after watching the video, it made me have less worry about it. But these things are huge. They are probably the size, I would say, bigger than one of the largest exercise balls that you bounce on or sit on to exercise. But these things are massive. They're big, and they can actually roll around amphibiously. They can go in and out of the water. They can, of course, equip other weapons too. They can have weapons on them and firearms. But the ones that they're showing here actually have a net launcher. And the way that they drive these things around, I'll just show you here. Let me show you this. Let me turn off the sound here. You'll see what I mean. So look at this thing. It's coming out of the water. Now, I just want to point out something like this where this drone can go across distances. That is a huge drone. And if you're talking about if this could go long distance or last a long time, I've seen drones this big, not this big, way, way smaller in this same kind of spherical design. In fact, there were Star Wars drones, like toys, that were about this big, and they lasted a few hours. I can only imagine. And then when you take them apart, you can see that the lithium battery's not that big. I can only imagine something that is this big could hold a massive, massive, massive battery. My thought on this is it is 120 miles away, the shorelines of China from Taiwan, if they were going to take Taiwan, something like that. But check this thing coming out of the water and then just keep going like business as usual. So, and I kind of got a chuckle about these criminals. Like they've both got 2x4s for some reason. And then the way it wobbles, I guess it just looks kind of janky. And then, but the thing is they're saying that these things, I guess, would be deployed, and they have been deployed with police, and that they could actually net the bad guy. Now, imagine these things with weapons. Now, they even show one of these mowing down a robot dog. In just a second here, they actually show it going through off terrain, and it even shows it with kind of the size comparison to a robot dog. You can see the robot dog right there is kind of tiny compared. And then you can see that it just knocks the robot dog and smushes it like it's nothing, right? I don't know if that's kind of a jab at the U.S. Like the U.S. has known more for having a lot of the robot dogs. Now they have the robot balls. But these things, the way that they wobble and things, I don't know if that's just because it's a demo, but it seems like if you were trying to shoot a net, the way that it wobbles is pretty bad right here. I mean, it's turning, but it's going like this back and forth to turn. I don't know. I'm sure that if I was a criminal, and then he's kind of like stepping like a light jog, like a mall walker or something. If you see this, it's like, what criminal is going to run that fast away from a police officer? And then he hits it with a 2x4, because criminals are definitely armed with 2x4s. But one thing I thought of is if you have thousands of these and if they have actual weapons, if they can set up, the one thing that these could do is they could set up where they need to be stationary, and they could aim any which way. They could have other arms that go up and down. They could have a computer with sensors, and they could take you down. So that is something to think about. They could put all sorts of other things on these. They could have flamethrowers. They could have all sorts of things, and I'm sure we'll see that. But again, I thought of the amphibious fact of this, that this can go straight into the water. Will they be using these for a Taiwan invasion? Could they actually be invading any other countries? Could we eventually see things like this come up on a beach of San Francisco? That's what's really nuts about this. If you think about down the future, if China ever does try to take on the U.S., what would that look like? Would it even be paratroopers, or would it be robots and swarms? That's the other thing, is they're focusing on their swarm carriers and that they're swarm forces. So, and one thing that they're ahead of us in. What do you guys think? You can go check out the original video over on the website. It is all right there. And then here is this same spherical robot, and this is with the Chinese police, and it is unveiled and walking with the police officers. That one has more like road tires on it, and it's got some blinking lights. To me, I would think the technology they have, this thing could probably go really fast. If you look at the one wheels and what they can do, I wonder if they've shown us the full capability of what this thing can do. Those one wheels, those things can go 30 miles an hour, no problem. So how fast can these actually go? Could these things go 100 miles an hour? No exaggeration. Could something like this gyroscopically, is it actually, going side to side like that because it is going so slow? That's my wonder. Dex, what do you think about that? Would you be scared of that? I mean, I wouldn't at first, but once it starts shooting things out at me, I would.
Well, yeah. I mean, it looks odd. But I actually think the robo-dogs they were showing were Chinese knockoff robo-dogs, which is why they were much smaller. I think ours are pretty big.
Well, some of theirs are, I mean, they're 1-to-1 scale in some cases, so I don't know if they made a smaller one.
I just think they were making a smaller one for the purpose of their video. But yeah, or using a smaller one for the purpose of their video. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. The whole gyroscope, rocking, how it uses that to steer and push momentum to the side to turn. Pretty fascinating. But yeah, the weaponry that can be mounted on this, or how it can, they're just saying policing, like, oh, don't worry, it's just policing. It's like RoboCop. I mean, that's scary enough, but you know where this is going to go from there.
Well, I definitely think that something like this is going to be more and more prevalent as time goes on. This is in the same week that Elon actually unveiled and took a ride in his own robo-taxi, which looks like a 2-door Tesla. I can only imagine what are going to happen to jobs. These police that are walking right next to it, eventually, if they have the capability, they will replace these police officers with those. I mean, this is straight out of sci-fi. If you want to access any of the articles, the tweets, videos, pictures, documents we just showed you here today, they are available over on Amphibious Drones for our Coastlines on marfooglenews.com. All you have to do is look for today's thumbnail, and you will see it. If you want to join us, we're going to go and deep dive into the rest of the news over on Marfoogle TV. Make sure to join us. And again, sorry we're a little bit later tonight. We will continue to be trying to go on anywhere from 5 to 6, but tonight it did not work out. So thank you guys for being patient, and thank you for coming to a later show. All right, you guys, make sure to join us. We're going to be going right over to the other channel. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. If you want to get to there, just all you have to do is click right here.